Hi there, everybody. It is Wednesday now? I think it's Wednesday. Let me check my calendar. Yes, Wednesday evening. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. I hope you're not sick of me yet. I know it's been a little bit more FaceTime than we usually spend with, but this pattern's just so active. I want to make sure we're ahead of the lake effect tonight. And then I want to talk about the weekend storm system. We've got another one next week. And then we've got some bitterly cold Arctic air that's making a return to the region here over the next 10 days. So, active pattern with these storms that just keep coming. There's not really a break in them. Sometimes during this time of year, I yearn for October when we have quiet weather and you have 2 weeks of sunshine, and that's just not the case with this forecast right now. So we're going to dive into it here. We'll answer your questions as always. We'll try to keep this a little bit shorter and sweeter than usual here on this Wednesday evening special edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome in, everybody. I hope everyone has survived Snowmageddon 23. Compared to where our January's been so far, I think we can call it that. But you know what? As we talked about last night, this wasn't going to be a big storm. We have some good snow out there for everybody. The roads weren't too impacted today, and we're breathing easy here this evening with some snow on the ground. And the temperatures aren't too bad either. Still dealing with some lake effect snow tonight, so there's going to be that. We'll talk about where that goes. I've got some snowfall totals from you. I got a lot of snowfall totals from you today, so I really appreciate all those numbers coming in. And so we'll get through all that. And then more importantly, we'll talk long range here in the forecast, okay? First want to say hi to Mary, Sarah. Good evening, Mark. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Hi, Deb. Hi, Nora. Debbie's with us. Jeff is here as well. Tina, Russ, hello to you. Diana, Becky, Irish, hi. Thanks for joining us on there. Brandy and Gary are here, and Laura as well. Happy Wednesday, guys. We're halfway through the week. We're getting there. We're getting there fast. I hope it's fast for you. It's been very slow in the weather world because these have been long days. I know, I'm not complaining because I love active weather. All right, so let's get into it. First, want to thank our sponsors briefly here, Ewing Mechanical Services. Guys, just do me a favor. If anything goes wrong with anything HVAC related or furnace or whatever happens to be, or plumbing, or if you want to get out of town, or if you need a new car, all right, these sponsors down below right here are the ones that keep the show for free. They're wonderful to me. They're wonderful to you as well. It's a wonderful partnership. So please support them if you can. Ewing Mechanical Services. We've got Tiger Plumbing, Discovery Travel, and Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They've had some extra time this week, which is great. They deserve it. All right, so let's dive into the forecast here. This is our system. Look at this. This is over the last 24 hours. Just look at how it develops. It came out of the Four Corners region about 36 hours ago. We had the severe weather, unfortunately, down towards Houston, Louisiana, and now tonight in the Carolinas. And for us, the low pressure passed right over Evansville and Cincinnati, just like the models were saying back on Sunday. So I think the models did a really nice job on this. Some of them were off 24 hours ago. That's why I did get a couple messages from you guys saying that, hey, this channel or this website are saying higher totals than what you're saying. And the reason why is some of the models were going higher. They were going 4 to 8 inches on us. And we stayed the course 2 to 4 with an additional 1 or 2 with this lake effect event coming in. Some of you had some higher totals that you're reporting to me with some pictures to back it up. So we did squeak out and overachieve in spots, but most of us fell into that 2 to 4 inch category as the system moved through. So here are some of the snowfall totals. This is from the Weather Service directly here, and I filtered out. Here's all the Indiana sites here. This was as of earlier today, though, like midday. We haven't had an official update since, so these numbers are a little bit higher with the light snow that's been falling, especially this afternoon, but you see 4 in Roselawn there in Jasper County was the high spot this morning. DeMont 3.5. We had a 3 over in Lakes of the Four Seasons. Valpo checking at 3, 2.5 in Crown Point, 2.4 in Mount Ayr. Boone Grove 2.5. So, Hobart about 2. And again, that was as of this morning. But generally everyone, and I do mean everyone, was in the 1 to 4 inch category. And again, we added a little bit to that this afternoon. So pretty happy with the way the forecast panned out. It doesn't always That's not always the case, all right? But the impacts are what really mattered. So where do we go from here? System's pulling out now, okay? We've developed that gusty northwest wind, so it's colder outside. You kind of hear the wind rattling the windows there at times. And the snow is still pretty widespread out there. We've got a decent snow falling back towards Wisconsin, out over the lake as well. And all this eventually comes inland. We're going to stay with scattered snow tonight. It's not just going to be for the snow belt. It's going to be everywhere as we bring in this little impulse. You can kind of see it here. We talked about this last night. There's this little wave that kind of circulates within a wave, and that will keep some of the snow showers going tonight and tomorrow. The heaviest stuff, though, would be this lake effect, which is right in here. You can barely see it, but notice how it gets a little heavier right there. That's overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. It'd be mainly Porter and LaPorte counties. It would start in Lake County. It doesn't look too heavy as it moves through, but it'd be Porter and LaPorte counties. This would be tomorrow morning through midday. And then we'd have a little bit more lake effect that may develop tomorrow afternoon that would roll east on the backside of that trough. So bottom line, we're going to keep lake effect snow showers in the forecast. I don't think we'll have any out of control accumulations, nothing of half a foot or more, but we could squeak out a few inches depending on where these bands set up. I think a general 1 to 3 additional Lake, Porter, LaPorte counties looks likely, but we'll have to watch. If any of these bands decide to sit or become better organized, that will be the case, all right, in terms of adding a couple more to our 1 to 3 inch forecasts here. And then this system's out of here, but I think if we have a takeaway from it tomorrow, it's still going to be snowy around here, okay, and kind of blustery as well. After that, we have a system right on the heels of that. So Friday morning, we may have some leftover flurries, and then we dry out for a while. We actually go quiet. But look at how fast the system comes in. This is an Alberta Clipper. These things fly in here, and they fly out of here too. The winds are going to pick up on Friday. So Friday midday, the wind is going to become quite gusty out of the southwest. So we've shifted it around. So it's going to be windy on top of our snowpack, just kind of cold outside, right? And then the snow's going to come in Friday early afternoon through evening. Should be a real quick hit of snow, half an inch to an inch. Could be briefly heavy at times, and then it's out of here. So not a huge total from this, but it'll come in pretty quick with some wind, some snow. You'll be like, what is happening outside? And then it'll be out of here. And that's how clippers behave. And then after that moves by, perhaps a little lingering lake effect Friday night into Saturday. But that would be a Friday system. So that's our next real travel impact outside of our lake effect snow tomorrow. Is that Friday time frame, midday through early afternoon, when we bring in that clipper that brings a quick inch of snow and some gusty winds, all right? And then after that, you can kind of see we're laying the foundation here with this little boundary that sets up right here, and it goes back through areas of the Midwest. That's going to be our boundary that sets up a Saturday night, Sunday system that has the potential to be a little bit bigger than the last couple systems that we've had here. So let me show you that. We'll jump right into that as well as we keep the show moving. Here's your clipper system right there. And then you notice on Saturday, this is Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, we start to develop this little band of snow that stretches from Michigan through northern Indiana, Chicago, back towards Iowa. That snow could be steady, and it could be light to moderate. We'll see. Hopefully we'll keep it that way. These things have the potential to form some heavy snow on what we call a deformation band, which forms on the northern end of these, but we're not going to go that far yet. But the snow chances will be there late Saturday, Saturday night into Sunday morning. And you can see how that boundary just kind of sits on us for a good 12 hours with some snow. That's something we need to keep an eye on. As of right now, accumulations look to be on the lighter side, but the potentials are that they could ramp up a little bit. But right now, that looks like a general, probably another 2 to 4 incher, and that would be for most of us here in Northwest Indiana. And then eventually that heads by, and we develop this pattern next week, which we were talking about last night, where we bring Arctic air into the United States. We'll have wind chill values minus 30, minus 20 in the northern plains. That Arctic air sits and kind of comes into the region, but at the same time, we'll have a high pressure off the East Coast, which is bringing warmer air up into Indiana as well. So that's going to form a boundary, and this boundary is going to form next week between bitter cold air and actually mild air down to the south. And in between, you'll have all this precip that breaks out. Where that boundary sets up is going to be important, because we're either going to be snow, which I think we will be right now, but if it comes a little bit further north, we'll have some ice problems around here where temperatures are still in the 20s and we're throwing warmer air aloft on that with some rain. We could have some problems next week. The Euro's kind of picking up on that. You see where that boundary is on Monday. Had some snow for us. And then on Tuesday, that boundary's still going. Notice how you get these little waves or ripples along it with some snow for the cold spots, ice in between, and then warm down to the south with the rain. And then you can see another wave of snow maybe coming through here Tuesday and a Wednesday. All of these would bring accumulating snow right through the heart of our area. And then eventually the Euro kind of sweeps it out with some lake effect at the end. The GEM does something similar, whereas the GFS doesn't do anything like that. The GEM, you see, this is a Canadian model. This is Saturday night into Sunday. It sets up that snow, maybe mixing with some rain on us. And then here's that boundary again with a wave of snow on Monday, and then a couple other waves that pass just to our south. Again, that can fluctuate, but next week is very, very interesting in terms of the cold air. And one thing's for sure, we're going to turn colder around here. And this all happens next week where we go back, especially as we begin February, back into the teens, maybe some single digits for highs. I mean, this is some cold air. Here's the chunk right now. It's up in northern Canada. They've got minus 30 and minus 20 degree temperatures up there. That comes surging south right there. That's Saturday. So it's in the upper Midwest on Saturday. And then that boundary gets a hold of it and brings it into our region on into Monday, Tuesday, and then especially Wednesday next week. Or actually, it looks like Monday, Tuesday are actually the colder days now. But bottom line, we're going to get much colder around here, even cold by January standards. So there's that. And then as we go through time, this is now 10 to 15 days out, the cold air really doesn't go away. February is going to start cold and stay cold for a while as this Arctic air stays in Canada, and we get these little lobes off of that as we go throughout the first week of the month of February. Okay, so that's all I've got for you. Mike, I appreciate that comment right off the bat. Great stuff. That's good to know. So that's kind of where we go. Janet, you're welcome as well. And Laura heard us on Indiana 105 today. That's awesome. I just love that. I love calling in and chit-chatting weather with Steve in the morning, and we get the forecast for you all day tomorrow. So that's kind of cool. All right, so let's answer your questions for you. Hopefully that covered everything. But again, just in summary, we've got more snow coming tonight. That will be scattered snow showers, and we'll have some lake effect as well. Probably 1 to 3 inches or so additional snow, Lakeport or LaPorte counties where that lake effect sets up. And then tomorrow we'll deal with leftover lake effect, scattered snow showers, minor accumulations, but we're still going to have some snow around. And then eventually we'll clear things out before that Clipper system comes in Friday. And that'll bring a quick inch of snow. And then we've got that system to watch Saturday night, Sunday. I know it's a lot. I want to let you know about all these different things. Oh, I just knocked over my water. It's empty, no spills. But anyway, I know it's a lot to process, so I'm trying to organize it in different increments because there's a lot. There's just multiple storm systems. And next week's interesting as well. But I hope that helps kind of sort out what times you need to be paying attention to, okay? All right. Hi, David. Hi there, buddy. David, I think you asked if school is going to be canceled tomorrow or something like that, or your work. I don't think so. No, you asked school. You asked if school is going to be canceled tomorrow. I don't think so, David. I don't think it's going to be bad enough in terms of the snow. I don't see anything that's really, totally noteworthy in terms of heavy snow around here. It's just going to be a little bit each time. And it doesn't take much. I talked about that stat yesterday in terms of accidents. More accidents occur with a little bit of snow. I'm talking a trace to 2 inches than any other snowfall amount. So it's these events where you get 1, 2, 3 inches of snow at a time from either lake effect or a system. These are the ones that cause the problems out on roadways. So that's that. Let's see. Russ says, how are some others calling for 2 inches on the Illinois side for tonight? Russ, because it's starting there and there's still a widespread snow around. Let me see if I can pull up. Let me see here. I'm going to go to weather. Here we go. Let's do this. We're going to Google, and I'm going to pull up the map for you here. That way we can kind of look at the radar together so I can show you what's happening here. I'm going to zoom in for you too, okay? So here's what we've got going on. All of this that you see in green is heavier snow. The blue is lighter snow. So you can see this little line right now. This is right now what's happening. This is our lake effect. It's not too bad yet, but it's still snowing. Whiting over towards Gary, Portage getting a little bit of snow right now. But this is that little ripple I was talking about that's kind of swinging in. That's going to bring widespread snow showers. This is how they're going to get their additional 2 inches tonight as this slides through. They're not going to get it from lake effect because of the wind direction. So hope that helps with that. All right. Maxwell, I don't think this Arctic outbreak is going to be quite as intense as December. December was noteworthy, and that got here so fast from Siberia that it didn't have a chance to moderate. This Arctic outbreak has a little bit better of a chance to moderate because it'll move in a little bit slower. So it's starting in Canada. As it comes down, it starts to moderate a little bit. There's just more time for it to do so. So it's still going to be cold. There's a potential where we have highs in the single digits, lows below zero. Which isn't atypical for late January, but it certainly is, compared to where we've been this January, it certainly is on the cold side, and it's cold compared to average as well. So I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as December, but the longevity of it, it might last a little bit longer than that. That was a pretty quick hit. Let's see. Mike asks, I know it's impossible to forecast this far ahead, but so far this year, we haven't seen any of those massive systems that dump like a foot of snow. Do you think we'll get something like that in February? Mike, I do. That's a really good question. January isn't really known for storms with a lot of moisture with them. As we get into spring, February and March, that's when we really start to involve the Gulf of Mexico. We did on this last storm, not to the level we can do it in February and March, but it's all about how much moisture can be thrown into a storm. And as things warm up down into the south in February and March, when they get temperatures 60s, 70s, even 80s, that air can hold a lot more moisture, kind of like we talked about last night. So that can put more moisture into these massive storm systems like the one we just saw. The one we just saw was almost across to across is about 750 miles. I mean, that's how big these storm systems are with swirling air and all that. So that being said, if you throw moisture from the Gulf of Mexico in February and March into a system that big, you can squeeze out some really good snow with it as well. So the later we get into spring, the bigger the snows can get. But the problem is it's harder to get colder air in with it. So it's kind of a dance that we do. But I do think we're going to get something in February. I would expect something in February. That typically is when we get our snowstorms, the month of February around here. Great question, though. Erica says, will my son have a rough drive from Valpo back to Bloomington on Sunday afternoon? Towards Bloomington, I think it's going to be more of a rain event, Erica. It does look like the warmer air is going to be close by. So I'm going to go back to the Euro. We're going to go to Sunday for you here, which is right here. And you notice how, this is what it looks like right now on Sunday. We'll have snow here, but over towards Bloomington, we're talking rain. I mean, most of Indiana is rain at this point. And then you can see as we go through time, it kind of changes over to snow. I don't think it'll be that tough of a drive on Sunday. I really don't right now. Caitlin asks, what kind of Jeep do we have? We have a Jeep Cherokee. Yeah, it's a 2019, I think. It was my wife's car, and then we got this, family car as well to haul our 3 kids around. And it became my car to take to work because she needs the bigger car for, the kids. So there's that. So I inherited it. But I love it. I've driven home many snow events. I'm telling you, there's something different about Jeeps in the snow than any other car with 4-wheel drive. I don't know what it is. It just feels thicker. The tires are better. I'm not sure what it is, but I haven't had any problems this winter, knock on wood, driving home from work, because usually when I leave from home after doing the late shows, we're talking midnight. And, there's not a lot of salting of the roads going on at midnight, let's be honest, because they're usually resting and getting ready for that morning rush hour. So I've had some tricky drives. All of us had here. Brandon asks, how much more snow will we get tonight and tomorrow in Northwest Indiana? Brandon, we covered that at the top of the show. Just to rehash, though, because I know a lot of people join later. I think another 1 to 3 inches for Lakeport or LaPorte counties. I think everyone could stand a chance of maybe an inch or 2 from that system we saw coming in, that another little ripple coming in. So there's more snow for everybody. But I want to highlight the lake effect, which would be Lake Porter and LaPorte counties tonight. Into tomorrow, there's going to be kind of an ongoing banding effect. It'll probably be multi-bands, but I think a good 1 to 3 inches. If a band decides to sit over an area, which I don't think it will, but let's just say it does because it's lake effect. You can't accurately predict it 100% of the time. Then we could squeeze out some more snow with that. But bottom line, lighter totals, Brandon, by lake effect standards. We're not talking big events with this, but still some more snow to come. Sarah asked a question. Driving from Whiting to Crown Point tomorrow around 6 a.m. We're likely to have some snow flying around, Sarah. I don't think it's going to be a huge impact, though. I think it'd be probably much like this morning where roads should be taken care of. There's going to be snow in the air, but I don't foresee any huge travel problems tomorrow. Erica, you're welcome. No problem. Tina, you too. Katie, yes, some more snow showers will move into Jasper County tonight as well. And that's going to hinge on that stuff coming back in from Illinois. So this right here, this little wave of energy is going to bring snow showers to everyone tonight. So we'll keep scattered snow in the forecast. I know you've kind of quieted down in Jasper County as of now, but we'll bring some snow back in there tonight. Accumulations, as I mentioned, should remain on the light side. I don't think you get into much lake effect down in Jasper County tonight. Debbie, that's a good question too. I don't see a lot of sun in the forecast. I really don't. There's a couple periods we might squeak out some sun. One would be Friday, right before that clipper arrives, but it's so tough. It's so tough to get sun this time of year, especially in this pattern where we've got storm system after storm system. Sarah, you're welcome. Charlie, you're welcome. I appreciate your nice comments. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you very much for taking the time to say that. Yeah, good call, Russ. Yeah, let's go through temps tonight, just to take you through it. We're not going to get bitterly cold. I think as we get away from the lake, we'll be in the upper 20s, and then we'll be near freezing closer to the lakeshore tonight. That's just from memory. Let's take a look, though, and I'll zoom in for you as well. And we can go a little bit longer range on that as well. So here are your temperatures. Hopefully you can see these numbers. I think you can here. And this is tonight, what we're looking at. So there you go, 20s inland, right around freezing off towards the north. So treatment's going to work, obviously, but we'll need to do that because some of the melting that we had today, if it's left untreated, is going to freeze up. And then as we go through time tomorrow, notice how this is tomorrow night into Friday morning. That's when we get the cold air in here. After this lake effect departs, we're out ahead of that clipper system. So we drop down into the teens for Friday morning. So tomorrow night into Friday morning, and then we warm up into the mid 30s on Friday out ahead of that clipper. And then watch how this clipper system brings in colder air behind it. And then why don't we just fast forward to next week briefly here. See that cold air off towards the north? Let me switch runs here. This will go to the 12Z, so we'll be able to take you through it. These are some of the numbers we're looking at next week. So there it comes in here. This is Tuesday morning. The Euro's hinting at, anywhere from 5 to 16 degrees. That cold air is just hanging out towards our west, and then it spills in here. There you go. So that's Thursday morning next week. Air temperatures may be below zero for that, and it gets worse from there next Friday. So February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and February 3rd, those continue to look like the coldest days as of right now. So it's going to get pretty cold around here. It doesn't mean these temperatures will hold. This is the Euro. The Euro tends to lean cold in the long range. So I would expect this to modify. If I saw minus 15 for a low on the Euro next Friday, and that's a week out, I would probably bump it up to like -2, -3 at this point in terms of forecasting. Stephanie says, with no sun, we're going to need heat lamps like the lizards. Yeah. Boy, Petco's going to be selling out of heat lamps. Did everyone adopt lizards all of a sudden? That's great. Let's see. Yeah, Debbie got to catch the clear skies Monday evening. That's okay. Yeah, no problem. Diane, I'm glad that helps. I'm glad that helps for sure. Emma asked a good question. She says, what about delays or closings? I don't think so tomorrow, Emma. Unfortunately, Justin, you're welcome as well. And Katie, you're welcome as well. But Emma, I don't think we're going to have a lot in terms of delays or closings tomorrow. I don't think this is going to be enough snow. We'll have snow around, but it's not going to be a huge event. It's not a big lake effect event. The dynamics down over the lake aren't big enough. We're going to crank out some snow, but it's just not going to be, I don't think it's anything to delay or close anything. What would be interesting is later next week, depending on how this evolves with this really cold air coming in and any storm systems we get the middle half of next week, that's when we could be doing that again. We could be doing that all over again. All right. Maxwell asks a good question. When will you go live again this week? Maxwell, I think we're probably going to cut it off tonight. In terms of that Saturday, Sunday system, that's the next one kind of on my radar out ahead of the Clipper system. We'll handle this Clipper system with just some graphics for you tomorrow and the next day, which is Friday. But that weekend system is interesting. And if it ramps up any more, then we'll do another live broadcast. Otherwise, plan on seeing me again for our Sunday evening Region Weather Live that we always do every week, okay? Or Sunlamp, that would work as well. Okay, everybody, I think that's about it for now. So we'll let you go on that. Again, I'm glad you got through Snowmageddon 23. Again, if there were any websites or anything like that that told you, that this was going to be a huge event that we just went through, I just go ahead and cancel them out or block them right now, okay? Because they just want your clicks, and that's certainly not the case here, okay? Susan, you're welcome. Maxwell, you're welcome as well. And we'll go from there. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.